My name is Bill Anthes, and I am an assistant professor of art history here at Pitzer College. I think since the 60s, when it first emerged, video art has kind of taken off in a couple of different trajectories. It, I think, initially was in kind of an installation-based process or practice, but and there are some people that still work in that mode, but more and more I think we find contemporary video artists really adopting kind of cinematic styles and techniques, and there's an emphasis on narrative and storytelling now more than ever before in a lot of the projected video that you see in the big museums and the international biennales. And some of the people I think of who are currently a big deal in the video art world would be obviously someone like Matthew Barney, someone like Eve Sussman, or someone like Stan Douglas. Those are some that come to mind. I think YouTube can be a boon for artists in the same way that the internet in general has been good for independent recording artists and musicians, in that it would allow someone to completely control every aspect of their production and their distribution for almost no money whatsoever. That has its benefits, but it also has its downside as well, because your audience gets so dispersed, and it's more of a network of friends than anything else, it seems. So, I mean, YouTube has the potential to be this amazing archive for visual material in general. I find some frustration trying to find things. I find some great things that I can show in class from time to time. Like, I often show a clip of Yoko Ono's cut piece, which is no doubt illegally up on YouTube in violation of copyrights. But it's completely hit and miss whether you might find a relevant Warhol clip, or Matthew Barney clip, or Pippilotti wrist clip, or something like that. And what you find will probably be of low quality and not cataloged in any such way that you can really do much with it, because there's an expectation in academic work that we be kind of careful about that kind of thing. I mean, I think if you were doing research on 80s music video, for example, YouTube would be an amazing resource. And like this morning, I realized that I had gone to bed too early and I missed seeing Spoon on Saturday Night Live last weekend, so I watched them and I enjoyed that. But for kind of actual academic or critical work, it's incredibly frustrating and completely hit and miss. People have written that, video art, for all of its initial kind of democratizing and radical potential, very quickly has become a white cube enterprise again, or what some critics call a black box enterprise, where you walk into museums and you see nothing but projected video. And YouTube potentially could do something about that. I would imagine that an artist could begin to make work for YouTube and imagine YouTube as a venue, and that might be potentially quite useful or quite liberating. But I think that YouTube itself, as a site, as a venue, as a community, has a lot of things that would need to be addressed. And I haven't yet come across any work that's actually produced for that context that kind of meaningfully makes use of it in any way. Not to say that it isn't possible or that it isn't out there, but maybe you guys who spend countless hours on YouTube are finding it. I mean, part of what makes YouTube wonderful is that it is so open and democratic, and it is unjuried and not peer-reviewed, and so it allows just anybody to put their stuff up there. But that's its limitation too, right? Its system of tagging and cataloging is completely inadequate. And so, I mean, for YouTube to be a resource for me, I would need to have more stuff like that. But that's almost not possible, because there are copyright issues, and all of the big collections of the relevant material that might be great to have at your fingertips would have to get together with YouTube and reach some kind of agreement. I'm thinking of, like, what Google Books is doing, which is for the most part ignoring copyright, right? YouTube would have to address that in some way, and then also use what in the world of databases is called, a much more sophisticated set of metadata for all of its clips, which I just don't think it's ever going to happen.